Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Local Lowdown podcast. We are located in South Central Texas. On this podcast, we do a weekly review of all the newspapers in Lavaca County, Texas, and also the Luling Newsboy and Signal located in Luling, Texas. After the reviews, we will have a conversation about different subjects all over the Lone Star State. Some of these things can get quite comical. Thanks for listening. And now, here are your hosts, Murray and Michelle.
Hello, everybody. This is Murray back with you for the July 22nd and 23rd edition of the Local Lowdown podcast. And we'll be reviewing all the newspapers in Lavaca County, Texas, including the Luling Newsboy and Signal over in Caldwell County in Luling, Texas. And Michelle, she just got back from her trip where they had ultimate success. But she's a little tired and getting ready for the next place they're going to have to go. So I've got Mr. Jimmy Appelt here with me, and Jimmy, I appreciate you being here.
Well, I'm glad to be here again, and I always get a big kick out of that local lowdown that you say.
Yeah, I can't always get it deep depending on the sinus problem. But I guess what we're going to do, we're going to start off and run through these newspapers, and Jimmy's handling that pretty much for us. And after we get through, we're going to talk about upcoming promotions that we got going on in the newspaper and some other things. So kick it off, Jim, and we'll head on to the Luling Newsboy and Signal.
Well, we got to highlight Nicole Smith right off the bat. Looked like Nicole went on a vacation just recently, and I think she took a cruise up to Alaska. And she got a nice photograph on the front page of a shot she took of looked like
I think it was part of an iceberg broke off, and
exactly.
I think she had it on her text post that she was looking at it and had her camera up, and it came off. So she got the opportunity to get a good shot.
Boy, that is a good action shot. But anyway, she talks a little bit about her trip to Alaska. I've been to Alaska myself on a trip, and that's beautiful country up there. Very beautiful.
Where when you go up there, if like you're on a cruise, where do you depart from to go on?
Well, the cruise I went on, we flew to Vancouver, Canada, and then got on the cruise ship there in Vancouver and sailed all the way up along the the Alaska coast, and even the Canadian coast up that way. And we'd go into all these little inlet areas, and we'd stop at different little ports. I think we stopped at 3 or 4 different ports along the way. And then you get off the ship, and you can basically go. They have things you can do, or you can go look around on your own if you wanted to. But it's really interesting. Then in our case, we just sailed all the way up to Alaska, and then we flew back from Anchorage back to Dallas, Texas when we came back.
So how long did it take you to go from when you departed?
Well, the whole trip was about a 10-day trip.
Oh, all right.
A little longer than I really like to do, but it wasn't bad. It was neat. Another thing she's got here, I guess she did this before she left on her trip, or maybe afterwards. She's got an article about the Luling ISD having some new leadership. They have Cash Greathouse as their new high school principal, and then I see Stephanie Jones was named the new campus principal at Leonard Shanklin Elementary.
Oh, I see.
And then what was the other one's name? Marsh. There she is, Stacy Marsh, assistant principal at Shanklin Elementary, and then finally, what's Williams' first name? I'm sorry.
No problem.
Ariel Williams was named assistant principal at their junior high. So
okay.
Got some, with school starting up, you got a little bit of new leadership going on in those areas.
Yeah, the schools will be starting pretty soon.
Yeah, well, I think teachers go back to work the first week of August, and I think school starts the next week of August for most of them.
You know, things have sure changed, because when I was in school, of course, that was many years ago, you were off from the end of of
May.
May, the whole time, the whole summer you was off. Now, I don't know about the teachers, but I tell you, those kids don't get much time anymore, do
No,
they?
they don't. You're talking about when we'd go back to school, it was in September after Labor Day, but I think a lot of it was set up because at that time there was a lot more farming going on.
Yeah.
People harvested cotton and they baled hay and they had corn, and they just basically had their kids working in the fields for those things.
And them kids, that's why they had such big families back then, you know.
I think you're right. Moving over to the inside of the Luling Newsboy and Signal, just a few little items off and on. I see an ad here for the. I've just finished writing that up for next week's paper. The Schulenburg Festival is coming up on July 30th through August the 2nd. That's always a big thing, and they have an advertisement run in the Luling paper. In sports, looks like they've had some athletes out there on that hot field already trying to get ready. I think that's part of what they do. They are allowed to have them come in and go through some training exercises so that when they start working out in early August, they're a little bit more acclimated to the temperatures.
Well, it's exceptionally hot. I was telling Ani in there a while ago that last night, about 8 o'clock at night, I stepped outside, and I have a carport, not a garage, but an open carport, and I have a big thermometer on the wall. And at 8 o'clock, that thermometer was showing 100 degrees.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go a little. When we went to bed, we have a clock that can, off of a sensor on the outside, can register the temperature outside and inside. And at 11 o'clock, it was 90 degrees.
Good Lord.
I mean, I couldn't believe that at 90 at that time it was still that warm.
Well, they're going to have to really watch those kids working out in that kind of heat.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, they better give them plenty of breaks.
But, you know, the UIL and the TAPS that controls the private schools, they put a lot of requirements now on coaches as far as those kids can get a water break whenever they want. Back when you and I played football, we got maybe one water break through the whole 2-hour practice.
Yep.
Now they can, whenever they get thirsty, they got people around there got water for them, or they can set out if they want for it to cool down. And it's good because the heat is tough, and there's been, unfortunately, sometimes that kids have had heat situations where they've passed away.
You bet.
And that's not a good thing.
No, that's something that they really do need to keep an eye on. And like you said, things have changed over the years.
Oh, yes. Looked like Nicole wrote an article on the back page about the flooding that came to Texas during July. I know y'all talked a bit about it last week in the podcast about how here in July it seems like we always get rains. And it always seems like it's hitting up there on the other side of San Antonio around Kerrville and those areas. So
was that thing last year, I believe it was on July the 4th, that those kids were killed in those camps up there. And I don't know why July has recently just been such a rainmaker. It's unusual.
But, you know, it actually, the craziest thing is that where the rain is, it's over there in the Kerrville or west of Kerrville, and I think this year they got close to 20 inches in some of those areas. I mean, that's amazing.
I have a niece that lives on Lake Travis, and when I was a kid, because when I was really young, my family's from Austin, and so we spent a lot of time on Lake Travis, and boy, it was low. And I just saw, I believe it on Facebook the other day, that it's full. After all that, it's finally full.
That's what I've heard too. They have Nicole has one more article on the back page. I thought we might discuss that a little bit. It says she got a picture of a radar sign. The police put that up, and it records your speed as you travel by, and it says data is being collected. And I noticed every once in a while here in Hallettsville they have it set up, but it doesn't show you the speed so much, but it's still reading your speed limit. And I think they're trying to record how many people are actually exceeding the speed limit when they travel by that thing. And then you notice a few weeks later, they have more police cars sitting over there kind of radar in that area. And I'm sure a lot of people have gotten speeding tickets for that too.
I'll tell you what, and Hallettsville probably is unique to it, but we have a problem here with people running red lights.
Oh gosh, yes.
Very, very bad.
Yeah. You know, back in the day, I taught driver's ed, and one of my classes that I took, we had different things we could do to kind of observe people's driving habits and so forth. And what I chose to do is, one, I rode around with a police officer and watched what he had to all go through. But I also decided one time to sit at one of the traffic lights on the side and watch and record how many people ran a traffic light. It was amazing how many people would do it. They run through the yellow light, or even after the light is turned red, they're still going through it.
I tell you, when people come to visit me and they get ready to go home, I'll warn them. You watch those lights. Just because it's green, don't pull out.
That's
you
exactly
see for
right.
sure. Because that's bad.
Yep, you got to practice good driving habits. Basically, before you do pull out, check both ways, because you never know.
You bet.
All right, we're moving to the
Molten Eagle, the old Molten Eagle, and we've got a news story on there that has pretty well dominated the news over the last couple of weeks.
Yes, you're right. Unfortunately, our Justice of the Peace of Precinct 2 was arrested last week for some felony charges, and then he got an order from the bail judge or the magistrate that said he had to report to get an ankle monitor, and he didn't show up. And so now then the police had to go around trying to find out where he was at. They finally located him, and when they did, they were attempting to arrest him in a peaceful way, and he chose to take his life, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I was when I was reading that, I was surprised how it wasn't just Lavaca County agencies; it was Fayette County was involved, and
that's correct.
And then the marshals out of Victoria were involved.
Oh yeah,
I think they were the ones that were going to arrest him.
I think that the county police turned it over to the U.S. Marshals and let them handle it because of the situation involved in it. And it's unfortunate. I don't know what all's involved with it, but it is unfortunate that this man got involved with this kind of stuff, first off, and secondly that he chose to take his life as a result of it too.
It's really sad, because he probably I didn't really know him or know anything really about him till this news story broke. But it's always unfortunate when it has to end that way.
I know. You're right. But Commissioner's Court, I wrote about that, and it's in the Molten paper, and they met last Tuesday instead of Monday because they had a district court meeting going, and they usually use the Commissioner's courtroom as kind of a holding place for the jurors before they go into the district courtroom. So they held it on Tuesday, and they discussed a number of items. You'll have to read what they all talked about and so forth.
And Clayton Kelly with 2 E's. Look back on the front, Jim.
Okay.
Didn't he write something about the school?
He sure did. And
it's a city. Yeah.
Kelly with 2 E's.
Yeah, we got. I asked him when I was here. I said, "Do you spell that with 1 E or 2?" He didn't answer me. I guess he was tired of hearing about it.
Well, now you've shortened it to where you don't even say Clayton Kelly with 2 E's. You just say 2 E's. Anyway, Clayton wrote about, it looks like, he attended this Molten City Council and the school board meetings, and got some information, and that he wrote an article about that. So read about that in the... Okay, on the next page, we have your Lone Star Diary article. You want to talk about that a little bit?
I wrote a story. Actually, I had written that story a long time ago, and then I brought it back and did some updates on it. But it's about, I was kind of griping about the way Hollywood twists our history around when they make these made-for-TV movies and such. And it's outrageous if you're a historian. Now, regular people probably don't even notice it, but they, in that one story, I believe that was Tupper, Texas, and these are way back there. And Chris Christopherson was in that movie, and they were going to the Alamo. And old Chris had a 5-shot Colt revolver.
Really?
And the 5-shot Colt didn't come out till 1840. The Alamo fell in 1836, and I noted that I bet they would have liked to have had those pistols, but the only one that had one was old Chris Christopherson. But and then I have at the end of the story, I give an example of how if they would just stick to the actual history, the actual story, that in itself could be a movie. And that picture of that fellow there, Mr. Smithwick, he came to Texas when he was 17 and landed on the coast, and I believe he walked barefoot all the way across the country. But he became a blacksmith, and he was in Gonzales when the first shot was fired for Texas independence. They had buried that old cannon because the Mexican army was wanting to get it back. And so when they dug it up, Mr. Smithwick refurbished it, got it ready to shoot, and then he went on. His story is a big story. And if you read the book, Evolution of a State by Noah Smithwick, it'll tell you all about that man, and it's a living history, boy, I'll tell you. And one other note about him, he was like Sam Houston. He did not believe in Texas succeeding from the Union. And when you believe that way then, they wanted you out. And he wound up in California, and he was blind when that picture was taken. And he told his daughter, he had a great memory, and he told his daughter about all his adventures. And that turned out to be that book, Evolution of a State.
Wow.
So if you like Texas history, I believe you'll enjoy reading.
Well, I know you do, and you do a good job of having a little an article each week about something related to Texas history. And I know there are some historians around here that really appreciate you for doing that, too.
I enjoy doing it. And, one other note, talking about school teachers, and I have a daughter that's one, and of course you were, and how the effect they can have on kids' life. I took Texas history in Lake Jackson, Texas, and I believe they taught it in the 8th grade then. And that teacher, her name was Bess Brennan, I'll never forget her. She's the one that got me so involved in it.
Well, that's good. That's good. Well, I don't know if we didn't mention it in the Luling paper, but we need to, because it's going to be in all the papers. Our newspaper rates are going to be going up starting on August the 1st. There's been a 7% rise in basically sending papers out. And then also, of course, when you print papers, you got to have paper, you got to have ink, and you got to have all those things. And that runs some cost too. And so it's been decided to raise the subscription rate for all the different papers that we print to a $4 increase in the subscription rate. And then I think the individual papers in the newsstands will cost you now going up 50 more cents. So it'd be from $1 to $1.50. Now, Ani told me this morning that the last time we had an individual or a single paper increase was in 17 years ago.
Yeah, I knew it'd been that way a long time. And one other thing that I noticed on there is that I believe if you subscribe to the paper, don't you get the online version?
That is correct. People may not know that, but if you sometimes you look at it online. If you subscribe to a issue, then you also can get the online issue, but you have to notify the office here in Hallettsville.
Well, I'll tell you what, I encourage people to do that, because if you get the online version, you can see that paper long before it comes to you in the mailbox. You can see it instantly.
That's correct.
And when it comes out, like on Wednesday morning, first thing I do when I get up Wednesday morning is put those papers on Facebook, on each one of our Facebook pages. But I encourage people to do that, and I've had people say, well, some people don't know that much about the internet and everything, but you probably have people around that could show you how to get to it.
And I like it because when I get up on Wednesday morning, I I get up a little after 6 o'clock and it's already there.
Yep.
So I start looking at that, and I don't hardly ever look at the hard copy of it anymore. But
And you know, a lot of times the hard copy, due to printing problems, might be kind of messed up. Pictures might not be good. When you get it online, you get it just like we sent it to the printer, and it's clean and ready to go. So I encourage people to do that.
oh yeah, the photographs are extremely sharp
Yeah.
when you're online.
You bet.
And they may not look like that in the print sometimes.
Exactly.
Okay, moving on. Let's see. We have, of course, we have different ads for different types of things going on. Again, the Schulenburg Festival, and they're going to have something, music in the park. Where's that going to be at? I'm not certain. It doesn't really. George's Hall, wherever George's Hall is.
George's Hall.
Is that in Moulton?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Hamilton, yeah. In
Okay.
fact, he's not far from where the park is.
Moulton Jamboree took out a big ad on the on their festival, which is this weekend, if I'm not mistaken.
We got a 2-page write up in the Moulton paper about that. That's their big thing in Moulton, is that jamboree. And unfortunately, like all these other festivals in the summer, it's warm. And so I would tell people, go and enjoy it, but be prepared for the heat. Have plenty of water, and I'm sure they'll have plenty of it there too. But it's a good thing. They have a parade. They have bands. They have car shows. I believe they have a car show this year. I used to go to them all the time. Yeah, I believe
Yeah, it does say
yeah.
that over here.
Yeah.
Sure do. Hot rods or something, muscle cars and 4x4s, antiques,
Yeah.
motorcycles, all that type of
Yeah,
thing.
if you're a car enthusiast, you'll like that. But,
Of course, we like to thank all the advertisers
You
that
bet.
advertise,
You
put
bet.
out this thing. A lot of Moulton folks and business people in Moulton did a good job of
we
providing.
couldn't do it without them, that's for sure.
That's right. Okay, we move on to the next page, and it's all your classifieds
Yeah.
and so forth. And
Yeah, you need to check those classifieds out, folks. We have them in every paper, and check them out. You might find something that you didn't know you needed.
you got to repeat that every time, but that's
Yeah.
all right. And then we don't ever mention it, but every week we have the livestock report at the Hallettsville Livestock Commission and the Cuero Livestock
Right,
Commission.
right.
And then on the back page we have some Knights of Columbus photos. They had their night out, and they recognized different people.
Yeah,
and
and
so
they
forth.
recognized all their award winners, and the family had a great turnout. And then Ani brought me this, and I was able to get it in. I hope it's in the rest of the papers. I'm
Okay,
sure
it
it
says
is.
Lavaca County unveils state-of-the-art emergency dispatch center. Yeah, it should be. They redid something so their dispatchers have a little more room. Apparently, they were working in a real kind of a room about the size we have here, which is about a 10 by 10.
I hope they have a little bit of space of what we got.
So far, I haven't seen any obituaries, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I was
so
going
far.
to ask you a while ago if you'd seen any while you were going through there.
Not through the first two papers we've gone through. But
Well, that's a great
now
thing.
we move on to the
This
Tribune.
is the Hallettsville Tribune Herald. I like to call the flagship of our papers, and they're able to have more news in their papers because of the size. In Moulton, we run 6 to 8 pages, and in the Tribune, you never know. It's usually 10 to 12 or more. But anyway.
Well, we lead off. We have the same article on the JP2 and what happened with him. And I wrote an article because I thought this might be interesting to Hallettsville people. Lavaca County had two coaches who have ties to Lavaca County were inducted into the Texas High School Coaches Association's Hall of Honor this past Saturday. One of them, of course, is the legendary Stephen Cherney from Shiner. Man, when you look at all the things he's done at Shiner, it's just amazing. 5 different state champions. He coached 5 different state champions.
Wow.
And that's among some football teams, baseball team, and softball team. So, and he's I know know Stephen personally, and he's a wonderful man. He's a good person, a good representative of what a coach should be.
Well, that's great.
And the other coach was Johnny Ringo, and Johnny, even though he didn't coach in Hallettsville, his mother lives here. Her name is Fran Dolezal Ringo. It's a part of the Dolezal family. You have Glenn's Meat Market, that's part of that group, and then Leon Pop Barnes and his wife Doris. Doris was one of the Dolezals, and that was a couple of his aunts and so forth, or his aunt and uncle.
Well, he definitely had ties.
But he too, man, he coached 38 years. Of course, he's been up in a little larger type systems, and he didn't win any state championships, but he had a lot of great record, and also he was the president of the Coaches Association one year, and I know him too personally, and I coached with his dad, so his dad was a coach here in the 80s, and real good person. Both of them very deserving men to receive that honor.
Well, that's great.
That they do that every year of honoring different coaches, and this year we happen to have two of them that have some connections to Lavaca County.
Well, it sounds like they were very deserving awards that those men got.
They sure did.
That's great.
02E's covered or got some information on a conviction that took place, a jury trial, and he writes about that. So if you want to read about that, you need to get one of these papers and read it. Our managing editor, he wrote a story about the possibilities of a tropical storm coming toward us this weekend, Tropical Storm Bertha. So he got the information and wrote something on that. Now, I don't know if that storm's going to come this way or not, but
yeah, it's been kind of, if I might use the word squirrely, it's hard to see exactly where it's going to go, because it looked like it was going to involve us. I think the first report I saw that it was going to come to Galveston, but I looked at the radar this morning and it looked to me like it's offshore yet. So, I think still have it kind of coming toward our direction, but by the time it gets to us, it's just going to be a low pressure system. Yeah. So it's going to be probably winds about 30, 25 miles an hour, and we might get a little rain out of the deal. I mean, it's hard to say. You never know about those storms.
Yeah, you're right. Well, we have Chucky's Chuck chatting with Chuck. He goes over different types of things happening around the community. Chucky's on a vacation himself
Chucky's
right
on
now.
Vacation. I saw a text from him this morning, and he's up there in Fort Worth, I believe, with his family, and I hope he's enjoying himself.
Well, I know I figure he can't stay away from you very long, so I figure he was there last night, and he's probably going to stay through lunch today or noon, and then head back. He has a place. He's for some reason he's fallen in love with Cameron.
Yeah.
And he decides to stay there for the night, and then the next day he's going to come to Hallettsville. So it would not surprise me to see him sometime tomorrow.
He'd get back just in time to irritate us.
Yes, he would. And of course, we have the newspaper subscription rates again in the Tribune, and then also the Commissioner's Court write-up about what they all covered. Chuck covered the 50 years ago, which he does on a weekly basis as well. And it's interesting to read some of the things that happened 50 years ago and different things like that. Actually, I'm looking at this. One of his articles are in this KC Hall groundbreaking on Sunday. 50 years ago, they first were starting to build the Knights of Columbus Hall here in Hallettsville.
You know, Chucky, that column has kind of evolved from Henry Joe Yashik. We got to remember Henry Joe.
Yes, sir.
Our good buddy that's retired now. But I'm sure anybody that reads this will remember Henry Joe, and he had that town chatter for years.
Oh, boy. Henry Joe, he knew everything, though. I mean,
he did not forget anything. When it came to, I used to kid him. He'd say, talk about, he was at this funeral, and he'd start talking about when they were born and just go all into detail. And of course, he was kin to most of them. And I even would ask him, well, was it raining that day? And by God, most of the time he could tell me if it was.
Well, he would also talk about going to weddings or so forth, and Chuck would throw this at him, say, well, what did they have to eat?
Yeah. And he always knew that, too.
Yes, he did.
We kind of accused him of deciding if he had more than one wedding to choose from, would choose it on the menu.
Unfortunately, we have 3 obituaries in the Tribune. Daniel George Droz, retired pharmacist for many, many years, a real good man, passed away, and we offer our condolences to his family. Laverne Koenig Tupa also passed away, and we offer our condolences to them too as well.
You bet.
And lastly, Royce Jean Dushek, and I knew Royce a long time, and I was saddened, and I still have a hard time getting over the fact that he passed away, and so we offer them condolences as well. So,
wasn't he the postmaster?
Yes, he was. At one time, he was the postmaster for Hallettsville as well. So 2 upstanding men. I'm not familiar much with Miss Tupa, but the Miss Daniel Droz and Royce Dushek, they were involved with a lot of things around Hallettsville.
They touched a lot of lives while they were here.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Dushek, I never really met him, but I worked part-time at Hoper's Drive-In for a while, for about 5 years, and he used to come in there. And he was always so friendly and nice to everybody.
Well, he would stop by the paper a lot of times to pick up his paper. They would pick it up, and also during the World Series, I always run a World Series hit pot, and him and his wife Joan would always get in it. So he would come by and pay me for it. We had the Kalachi Classic this past weekend too, and Chuck Roth was on the ball covering that, and he got some photos of the different.
That's a big golf tournament, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's been going on for I don't know how many years for sure, but I know it's been going on for quite some time. I know I read in his 50 years ago, or in his Town Chatter, that it was first started by Warren Grinland, our former mayor, and I know he started it probably before he was a mayor. So, I mean, really good thing. A lot of people play in it too. And then, of course, he got a photo of Ryan Targach, who is an assistant baseball coach now at Blinn Junior College, and he's also coaching in the summer the Brazos River Bombers, which is one of the teams that plays in the, I don't know what they call that league, but it's a league that the Victoria Generals are in.
Well, did you coach him?
No, sir. He was after I retired.
Oh, I see.
And he was a great baseball player, and he went on and played at Texas A&M as well, and had a good career there, too.
That's great.
Okay, moving on. Just saying... Clayton Kelly wrote something here about citizens speaking out to council about stormwater incident. So he covered the city council meeting. Again, you want to find out all what was said, you'll need to read the article. We turn to the next page. There's your Real Texas Better Than Fiction article again that's highlighted there. Of course, I guess Michelle tries to find a real isolated spot.
Yeah, she tries to hide it or leave it out.
And then we come to the last page, and there's Nicole's article on the flooding in Texas, and then her picture that she took on her trip. And we had some another court proceedings, and some people were sentenced to prison and stuff like that. And that takes care of the Hallettsville paper.
Okay, we're moving on now to the Yoakum Herald Times with Allison and Nadine. They do a good job over there. Hey, what you got, Jim?
Well, they do have the same thing on the Justice of the Peace article. They have a photo here of a big type of thing, rig moving through Yoakum. Had closed the streets for several hours and so on. The Commissioners Court meeting, Lavaca County Commissioners Court, and then they also printed the article on the coaches being inducted in the Hall of Honor. And let's see what else we got. DeWitt County inmate Clayton reported this one. inmate at the DeWitt County Jail was pronounced dead. Reported found dead.
For folks who don't know, Yoakum is in Lavaca County and DeWitt County. So Clayton Kelly with 2 E's, he covers DeWitt County over there. So you'll see things about DeWitt County and Cuero in the Yoakum paper when you might not see it in the rest of our paper.
Yeah.
So
you're talking about Yoakum. Half of Yoakum is in Lavaca County, and the other half is in DeWitt County. And it's kind of crazy how it is like that. But that's how the boundary lines fell and so forth. City Council, Clayton covered that too. They had a City Council meeting, and so again, you want to find out what they discussed and decided on, need to read that. Moving to the inside of the paper, see, I'm just looking down the list. Cluck Foundation presented a grant to the Lavaca County Sheriff's Office. And then moving on, we have some of the Yoakum students named FFA Leadership and Officers Team and so on. And then there's a group of St. Joseph little cheerleaders. So pick a photo of that as well. So
what is that story there, Jimmy, up at the top right, the Yoakum ISD?
Student enrollment?
Yeah.
Okay, it's talking about the enrollment at Yoakum ISD.
Did they grow, or does it?
That's what I'm trying to find out right quick. No, it's just basically talking about enrolling in the school right now, I think. And they're giving the times as when registration for students will take place at the different campuses and so on like that. So that would be on that part. And something we don't ever hardly mention either, we always put a page, a church directory page with advertisers as well. Then they have all the churches in the area and the phone numbers, how to contact them and so forth. And then we have a bunch of advertisement that surround it. They go out.
We appreciate those ads for sure.
Exactly. And we come across some classified ads again for Yoakum, and Precinct 4 had an employee retire recently, and the Commissioner's Court at Lavaca County recognized him. His name was Tim Fraser. He served 30 years there with the Precinct 4.
I actually had that in Moulton too.
Yeah, we overlooked him, but
I just didn't think about it till you brought that up. But
I guess we overlooked it. Talking about all the other things we talked about, and then that at the back page is just closeouts of the different articles that appear on the front page. We finally drive over to Shiner and get the
Shiner Gazette with Janet and Mark Luby. And this is Michelle, being as she lives over there. I always say that's her second favorite paper.
Well, I don't think she has much to do with it, though, even though she actually is the Chamber of Commerce president right now, too. I think that's on her final term of that, though, and she's really relieved because they finally got finished with the Half Moon holidays. I think she had a lot to do with trying to organize that or put it all together. And so
that's their big celebration over there.
Yes, sir. Sure. Okay, looked like Sergeant Chris Kalina was named. Clayton Kelly covered this. Apparently they had a city council meeting there as well. And the top thing there, Sergeant Chris Kalina was promoted to the rank of captain.
All right,
in the Shiner Police Department. Yeah, congratulations. And we always appreciate our police officers. They put up a lot, and we couldn't get by without them.
I tell you what, I don't see how they do it. I watch these police chases and things on YouTube, and I'm going to tell you what, some of the situations those men face and women. I was watching a couple last night from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And these guys were ambushed, shot at, and how it takes a dedicated person to do that job, and thank God for them. You're right.
And, you're talking about that. I've had 2 of my baseball players went into the DPS, the Texas Department of Public Safety, and One of them actually became a captain or sergeant or a captain, and he was one of my. I asked him one time. I said, I don't know how you can do it. Pull up on a person late at night and walk up to that vehicle.
You have no idea what
you're walking up
what
to.
he's about.
That's right. That's exactly right. Okay, this paper, Shiner Gazette, also has the article on the JP2 situation, and also the Commissioners Court meeting, and Clayton covered the school board meeting at Shiner ISD. And as we move to the inside of the paper, if I can get it open, they printed the article I wrote last week on the fishing trip that the wounded heroes or they call them heroes basically.
Well,
now.
they are. They definitely are.
And that's a nice thing that they do there. And I know it conflicts a little bit with the wounded warrior.
It's Warriors Weekend.
Warriors Weekend, that's right.
O'Connor
They don't like to put it as wounded, I don't think. I think they call it Warrior Heroes or Warriors Weekend and stuff like that.
Well, it's all to the same end. It's helping them.
It's all meant to recognize our men and women that have gone to war or gone to battle and come back with some type of serious injuries.
Yeah, it always irritates me. I've told this story 100 times, but when they started the Warriors Weekend down there in Port O'Connor, they started it in 2007, and my brother had a little bit to do with that, and I went in 2008, and I was so impressed that I went every year through 2014, and then my wife got ill and I wasn't able to go back. But folks, I'm going to tell you what, when you're there, and back then there was we were involved in a lot of war in the Middle East, and when you see them kids get off those buses missing arms and missing legs, and the ones that I interviewed all said the same thing when I asked them what they planned to do or what they wanted to do with the rest of their life, and every single one of them said, I want to return to my unit. So that tells you a little bit about the quality of people we have serving in our military. That is true. Very true.
Okay, moving through the Shiner Gazette, on the sports page, Mark Luby covered some things on Dalton Brooks, who's been playing for Texas A&M the last few years. He's a safety for the Aggies, and
was he graduated?
I think this is going to be his final year this year. So he'll be a senior this year at A&M. Maybe with some good fortune, he might even get drafted in the pros and so forth. Now he's a cousin to Jonathan Brooks.
Right.
Some of the Lady Comanches won some All-State Award honors. We congratulate them. And man, that Shiner softball just keeps going, doesn't it?
I'll tell you what.
And as we move on, they had a volleyball camp at Shiner High School as Shiner as well, with young ones attending. And lastly, that is basically it.
Okay.
Fortunately, I think I only saw the obituaries in Hallettsville's paper and no one else.
Yeah,
so
some of our condolences to all of them. As you mentioned, those two of those people you knew well, and the community will certainly. Well, everybody will be missed, but I guess that wraps up the newspapers, and we need to talk about some other things. I want to note right now, last week when Michelle was here and we did the podcast, we had some buzzards that sat out here. We have a window, we see the parking lot and the dumpster. And these buzzards sit out here, and I swear to God, one of them looked like he was really looking at me. And at my age, that makes you a little freaking nervous.
I can imagine.
And I remarked to Michelle, but while you were going through these papers, I looked out there at that dumpster, and there are no buzzards, and Michelle's not here. So I wonder if maybe they were here for her instead of me. Anyway,
that's pretty good.
and I understand I wasn't here when y'all put the papers together, but I understand that Nicole Smith helped y'all. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
Nicole came down Wednesday and helped us like insert these Dollar General inserts that we put in all the papers, except for the Luling Newsboy and Signal. But she came down to take the plate, and she even did some of the labeling on the papers.
Oh,
so,
wow. Well, Nicole's getting to be a professional at
yes,
that.
she is. She's
Not
real good
only
at
is
it.
she a great writer and a great photographer, now she knows how to stick labels on newspapers.
Well, I tell you what, she always has positive comments
Yes, she
about
does.
everything.
Yes, she
She's
does.
really always upbeat, and she's really a
betcha.
wonderful individual.
And for those who don't know, she's the head person at the Luling Newsboy and the Signal, and she does everything but put that paper together. Michelle does that. But as far as the writing and the photography, it's all Nicole. And she even, when Jimmy was going through these papers, she's in some of our papers, her articles and stuff as well.
And she does an outstanding job writing too.
Before we came out here, I talked to Ani, our office manager, about upcoming editions that we've got, so that you folks can look forward to them. We have the Fall Sports Preview coming up August 26th and 24th, I believe that's right. And then we have the Discover magazine in September. Now, the Fall Sports Preview, who does that? You and
Chucky won't let me do any
your
of
buddy,
that now. I mean, he does all of it, and he drags his feet a lot
good for
too. I
him.
know they get upset at him
he
a
needs
lot.
to have something to do.
That's true. That's true.
And then, people that want to get involved in different things about the advertising, all our papers, you can call our office, our main office here in Hallettsville, 361-798-2481. And that's the phone number to use on your subscriptions. If you want to get the online,
Exactly.
you need to call that number. And we got Campside Chatter is coming out in October, and Jimmy's involved in that. You got a story. She said you had a story for that.
Right now, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. They always ask me to write something, but I'll come up with something. I know the Discover magazine, they've asked me to write. Lavaca County is known for, basically we have all the different schools in the county have had state champions in some kind of sport for over a long period of time, and they want me to write something about Lavaca County being the county of champions.
So that's going to be in Discover?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, we got that going on, and I guess that's all I've got as far as upcoming things. Now we need to get to the real meat of the thing.
I just noticed we've gone a long time already, too.
We got plenty of time. Don't worry about it. Michelle is back from New Mexico, and the Shiner girls won that championship. And I'm going to let Jimmy talk a little bit more about that because he's more sports inclined with these things, and tell us about what happened and what they won and all that.
This is all involved with the Little League program, but in this case, it's the Junior League softball. And Shiner girls played in it this year, and they won. They had to win district first, which is all the schools in this towns in this area. And then they advanced to another level. I think they call them sectionals, which takes in a few other winners. And then they won that. So then they had to go to the East Texas State tournament, and they won that. And by doing that, they advanced to what they call now regionals, which was played in Albuquerque, New Mexico this past week. And they won that one. So now they qualify for the Junior League Softball World Series, which is in Kirkland, Washington, which is, I think Michelle said, about 20 minutes from Seattle, Washington.
And they're going to stay in Seattle.
I think so. I think you're right. And she's in the process of lining up their air flights, and I saw what their air flights were, and I said, oh my gosh, I mean, they're pretty expensive to fly up there to Seattle.
Well, in New Mexico, how many games did they play?
Okay,
you remember offhand? Was it like 5 or something like that?
I think it was. I think they won 5 or maybe even 6. I think how many teams come from that to that region, I'm not certain. But I know they won. I think the way they play what they call a pool play. And then if you win that pool or get second in that pool, then you match up in a single elimination tournament. So even though you might have not lost a game, you get in that section. If you lose one time, you're out. Oh, well, they got very close to getting beaten one game, 6-5 or something. And that was a team they won in this championship. They won over in the championship game. All the rest of them been kind of higher scoring games.
Yeah, that's what I was impressed by, how bad they beat some of those teams to be up there, in the playoff section. But
right. Well, now they're moving on, and you can look in the Junior League softball website, and they have who the possibilities they'd play. And I think I read somewhere where their first game is on Sunday afternoon, August the 2nd. And I think they play a team from Asia. It's an Asian champion or so forth. And so we were just looking at it this morning, and Shiner's in a pool with a winner from the West Coast area and the East Coast and them, and then I think Canada and Asia are theirs. And then the other pool has 3 United States teams and 2 out of country teams or so forth. So it's going to be a real diverse tournament in that regard. And to win that thing, I think they have to win 6 games.
Wow.
So it all boils down to August. The final game is, I said Sunday, but Saturday, August. Is that right? It's on Saturday's the final game, whatever it is.
Well, I'll tell you what, those kids in that community, and actually the whole county, needs to congratulate those kids and coaches for what they've done. It's very impressive.
Yes, it is. Well, also I might mention those games are supposed to be broadcast on ESPN 1 or something like that. It's not the regular ESPN station, but one of the other ESPN.
Well, who's been doing those live? Has that been a parent or somebody?
I think they've had somebody just turning their phone on and then broadcasting it on Facebook. Yeah. But they didn't have a broadcaster or announcer or anything like that.
Yeah, I know. I watched a little of that last game, and those kids, they got a lot to be proud of. It's like we talked about a while ago. It seems like this county, our area, produces those teams, and I like to mention that we've got the 3A state football champion over in Yoakum.
That's right.
And we don't need to forget that for sure. But I guess that's all I've got, Jim. You got anything else you want to add?
I don't have anything else. That was about the biggest thing, I guess, that's happening around here right now.
I appreciate you helping me out, and you had some real big shoes to fill.
I know.
Although she don't keep hers on all the time. But Michelle, I'm sure she'll be. I don't know when she'll be back from this Washington trip.
Well, I think their plans. She was telling me this morning that their plans are to fly out next Saturday. I still get confused. I said August the 2nd. Their last game, if they go all the way, would be August 8th.
Oh, okay.
Their first game would be August 1st or 2nd or whatever. I'm trying to remember what August the 1st is. That a Saturday or is that a? What are we at right now? The 30th is a Thursday, Friday. Okay, August the 2nd, I think, is their first game on Sunday, August the 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. And if they'd go all the way through, it would go to the next week. I think go to next Saturday.
So we don't know who they're playing the first game?
Yeah, they are playing that Asian representative.
You said that already. All right.
And so for them and for their parents, it's a hectic time right now because it's ranging trips and stuff like that. And they had to drive 13 hours. All of them drove up to New Mexico except for maybe one family. And that's a 13-hour trip.
Oh, Lord. Well, I'll tell you what, it's good. It's expensive and all that, but those memories, they'll have those kids especially.
Definitely.
We'll have those memories forever.
The rest of their lives.
That's a good thing. Well, all right, Jim. I sure appreciate you helping me, as I said before. And who knows, if she don't get back, you might be at it again.
I think she'll be here next week, but the following week will be up in the air.
All right, folks. Well, we appreciate you listening, and we hope you'll share this podcast, and we look forward to having some better results, or you can't get better than what they've already done. But we are anxious to hear what those kids do, and like you said, if that's not going to be before next Monday, we'll know something then. So for me, I'm saying goodbye, everybody, and thanks for listening, and appreciate Jim.
Thank you very much. Enjoyed it.
All right.